Over the weekend, I saw some ridiculous trade rumors that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been calling the New Orleans Saints to check on the availability for number 12. So in this video, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. I'm going to give you my take and why I think this is absolutely ridiculous. So here we go again. I need you to get down in the comment section. Y'all seen The Simpsons? Y'all remember Nelson? Ha 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 ha. That's what I want y'all doing in the comment section. Laugh at these Chris Olave trade rumors, because here we go again. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning into this AM edition of our show. You know, for what it's worth, I do want to say I think that there is some weight to the Chris Olave trade rumors, at least from the Pittsburgh Steelers side of things, because obviously Pittsburgh, they traded away George Pickens. They brought in DK Metcalf this offseason, but they still have a need at the pass catcher spot and in that role of the wide receiver. So I do think when it comes to a trade for Pittsburgh, yeah, I think there is some truth to that, but I don't think that this trade rumor has any sort of weight from the side of the New Orleans Saints. But let's just talk about it. Let's have a conversation because, you know, I do think that it's worth discussing at the bare minimum. Adam Crowley is a producer for a radio show out in Pittsburgh, and he said that the Saints are working on a trade for Chris Olave, and yeah, I get it. People want our wide receiver. He's a really good, talented player, but for what it's worth, we got some insight on what the Steelers would be willing to pay, and it's a day 2 pick, so round 2, round 3, and you know, like I said, Pittsburgh has a need at wide receiver, and I was talking to our Steelers Talk host, Jack Sperry, who's been on the show before, and I was asking, I was like, realistically, what would you guys offer? And he said, I think a 3rd round pick is 100% on the table. For a player like Chris Olave, in my opinion, I'm not interested in a 3rd round pick. I would want something a little bit higher in value. But, you know, Adam Crowley doubled down, and he, from the report, and saying, to be clear, he had someone who, in the building who would be in the know, text me, quote, Chris Olave. So there's the trade rumor. That's that. That's the whole discussion. That's where we're going to put a pin in it and say, going to give you my opinion. I'm just going to tell you how it is. Absolutely not. There is no world, no situation, no possible realm that I would ever consider trading Chris Olave. It would take so much for me to get rid of this player. He is a key part of the future plans for the New Orleans Saints offense. He's a damn good wide receiver. And not to mention, I don't want anything less than a day 1 pick. I get to be a greedy son of a bitch because Chris Olave is on my football team. So when it comes to moving off of this player, absolutely not. Don't even think about it. But if you get a decent offer, at least listen to it. Don't make the trade, though. There's no chance. I'm not moving off of number 12. He's too important. And quite frankly, you invested really high draft capital in him, and you picked up his 5th-year option. And on top of that, I think that Kellen Moore is very excited to get to work with number 12. And for what it's worth, we're going to be live for every single catch that Chris Olave has this season, hoping for a lot more of these awesome highlights, these great catches. This dude's a freak of nature. We're going to be live every single game day, so subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're also going to be giving you guys updates around minicamp, which starts tomorrow, OTAs, all sorts of other stuff during training camp, and then every single day, we're going to give you content throughout the season. So be sure to subscribe to Saints Now for content by fans for fans. Let's talk about Kellen Moore, because he did also say this back at the NFL owners meetings a handful of months ago. Chris Olave is a phenomenal player. He's had a huge impact on this team. And this is where I shut down all these trade rumors. He's going to have a huge impact this season. And look, I can understand why teams want to trade for Chris Olave, but Kellen Moore has said it explicitly. He will have a big role this year and have a large impact on the Saints offense this season. He's had a big impact in the past, and that's going to continue for the foreseeable future with this player on the offense. I think that Chris Olave is a really good wide receiver. He is young. He's exciting. He can make really, really good plays. So for that reason, I understand why teams want to trade for number 12. However, it takes 2 to tango. So if a team wants a player, that's all fine and dandy. takes two to tango. The Saints have to be willing to move off of this player. The Saints have to be willing to accept a trade. The Saints have to have their wants and their needs satisfied if they want to move off of a player like Chris Olave. Again, very special, very young, very talented player that I think needs to be a part of the foreseeable future, and I think will be a large factor in the Saints offense moving forward. I'm excited to see how Kellen Moore works with this player. I'm excited to see how he fits into this offense because we know Kellen Moore's strengths lie in appealing to the strengths of this roster. So I'm really, really pumped to see how Chris Olave is used with a really smart offensive coach. And what I'm hearing, the Saints have zero interest in trading Chris Olave. So you guys can take a deep breath. Okay, together. We're not moving off of Chris Olave. He ain't going anywhere. And for what it's worth, if you did get a trade offer, it would have to be something that you can't refuse. It would need to be a first-round pick. It would need to be something that's just like, really? Okay, like, sure, we'll take this insane player. We'll take this crazy trade return. But I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't trade Chris Olave. There is no interest in the building to trade Chris Olave. From the people I've talked to, from the people I know within the building, I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Now, Saints fans, if you guys want to get some really new hats, you want to get some new gear, I encourage you to go to chatsports.com/Saints hats. And for what it's worth, the 2025 draft hats are almost gone. They're almost out of stock. So if you haven't picked one up yet, chatsports.com/Saints draft, or just go to chatsports.com/Saints hats. That's the best link to use because you can also look at all the other hats. If you use the other one, it'll just go straight to the draft hats. So, just make your life a little bit easier. This link will be in the comments and description of this video. Go get yourself some new gear. They're absolutely fresh. I think these draft hats were so sick. And if you haven't picked one up yet, what are you doing? Chatsports.com/Saints hats. Links in the comments and description of this video. Alrighty, I kind of teased this a little bit earlier. The New Orleans Saints have every right and every opportunity to be greedy. And if you really were saying, maybe we do trade Chris Olave, you control the cards. Everything is in your control. You have all of the power. The keys to the kingdom are in New Orleans for teams that want to trade for Chris Olave. A trade, though, does not have to happen. It doesn't have to go down. You can just bring him in and let him play on his deal, and then he does an amazing job, and then you reward him, and then he's your wide receiver one for the foreseeable future. Those are all things that can happen. Like, I just don't think it makes any sense to move off of a very special player that has shown really big flashes whenever he's healthy. And why would you want to keep Olave? I mean, for a million reasons, but I've narrowed it down to 3. He's a great wide receiver when he's healthy. I mean, this guy is a proven 1,000-yard player. The way that he can control his body in the air, the way that he can go up and get those contested catches, the way that he has such great focus on the football, it's like he has magnets in his hands. It's unbelievable. And on top of that, you haven't need a wide receiver. If you move off of Chris Olave, your wide receiver room is way, way more scary because it's thin, it's tiny, there's not a lot of high-end depth, and quite frankly, the best wide receiver on your roster, if you move off of Olave, either Brandon Cooks or Rashid Shaheed. So I'm just not interested in trading a player and losing some of the wide receiver depth that you're already kind of lacking. And there is a questionable market. Because of the injury history, he's sustained 5 concussions since 2020. So that is something that's, worth mentioning. And on top of that, I just don't know how much teams are willing to pay. So unless they're giving you a first-round pick, I'm hanging up every single phone. I'm not teasing the conversation, and I'm not even going to have it with the other teams. Come correct or don't come at all. So type 12 in the comments section if you want to show some love to Chris Olave. For the record, dude's looking freaking yoked. We keep talking about we need an X receiver. Maybe we got one. Maybe we got one and we didn't even realize it. So show some love to Chris Olave down in the comment section. We're going to have another video coming at you later this afternoon, so be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, and y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.